Hello, good morning. Today, this class is going to be an arm balance class and it's for a beginner level. So, it's a very good starting point for people who have always wanted to do some arm balances and don't feel comfortable in it. So, let's begin and dive right into it. Let's start by going into the child's pose and get centered on our yoga mat, bringing your intention, bringing your focus on your breath. Focus on your inhale and your exhales. Calm your breath by taking long, deep inhales and long, deep exhales. A few more breaths here. Then slowly come into a tabletop position. From this tabletop position, we are going to do a few cat and cow poses. So exhale as you go into cat pose, pushing your hips forward, curving your back, and then inhale as you go into cow pose, looking up, curving your back on the opposite side. And let's repeat it a few times on your own breath. Inhale in cow, exhale in cat. Once you're done, meet me in a neutral tabletop position. And from here, we are going to warm up our wrists. So you can extend your hands towards the outsides and then just flow in clockwise or anti-clockwise direction to shift weight on your wrist. If you have been doing clockwise, then maybe start doing in the opposite direction. And just feel free to play around here a little. You can also place your palms facing upwards to stretch your wrist from the other side. You can do it with both hands. Keep shifting your weight between both hands. Don't push too much weight right now. We don't want to hamper the wrist right now. We're still warming up. And once you are done, let's meet me in a tabletop position. And from here, we are going to go into downward facing dog. And feel free to stretch your legs here. Bend your knees in. Try to put the full foot on the ground. For for a lot of people it might be hard because of tight hamstring. It certainly is for me. But try to go as deep as you can. And then try to bring your gaze at your navel or towards the back of your mat. And let's stable your downward facing dog now. Push the ground away from your hands and your feet. Find that length in your spine. Don't hold your breath. Long deep inhales and long deep exhales. From here, let's go into a plank position with our shoulders right on top of the wrists, and we are actively pushing against our hands. And make sure you don't let your shoulders drop in. We need to engage those shoulder blades. Keep engaging your core as well as your calf muscles. Keep breathing. Try to push yourself. See if you can hold out for a few more seconds. And then let's bring our left hand facing upwards and twist towards the left side. Look through your hand up in the air. Let's move it on the other side. Left hand goes back on the ground and right hand now goes up in the air. And the right hand is also pulling itself up as if someone's pulling you from your right hand, so that you feel that extension through the end of both of your hands. Slowly bring your right hand back on the ground. And from here, we are going to go into a chaturanga and then inhale into upward facing dog and then exhale into downward facing dog. From here, we are going to move between plank pose and downward facing dog a few times. Now let's stable in downward facing dog. And from here, let's move into plank position on our forearms. Again, your core is active, your legs are active, your shoulders are right above your elbows. And then you can look forward or you can also look on the ground just below you. Keep engaging the core. Gently release the pose, putting your knees on the ground, and then let's go for a quick child pose to release any tension. From here, we are going to go into a dolphin pose. So, with your forearms and with your feet in your downward facing dog position, now bring your feet close to your elbows. Bring it as close as you can and keep breathing here. Gently go back into downward facing dog. From here, lift your right leg up in the air. Into a three-legged dog. Try to extend it as high as you can. And slowly bring the right foot back and do a chaturanga. Then inhale into upward facing dog and exhale into downward facing dog. Now let's repeat it on the left side. Bring your left foot up in the air. Try to extend it as high as you can. And then do another vinyasa flow. Chaturanga, upward facing dog, and then downward facing dog. Now slowly bring your feet towards your hand and go into halfway lift. Then exhale into forward fold. And then inhale as you come all the way up, hands up in the air. And then in your heart center. And finally in Tadasana, your hands right next to you. From here, bring your hands on the ground and we are going to try some variations of crow pose. So, keeping your hands widespread on the ground, your fingers spread wide, your knees tucked on on your triceps, and then gently rock yourselves between forward and backward motion, trying to get into the habit of putting those weight on your triceps. And if you do feel comfortable, you can try lifting left leg or right leg off the ground one by one, just to get into that motion of how it would seem like to put all of your weight on your hands, starting for those arm balances. Your drishti or your focus point should be on the ground right below you, and focus on one point on the ground. That would help with the balance. Keep shifting and moving at your own pace, at your own breath. And once you are done, let's go back again into a plank position with our shoulders on top of our wrist. And from here, we are going to bring our right foot in the air, bringing our right knee to our right elbow, then the left elbow, and then back up. And we're going to repeat it similar way on the left foot. So bringing our left knee to the left elbow, to the right elbow, and back up. Let's repeat it another time on both the legs. Now inhale as you bring your right foot between your hands And then gently lift your left foot off the ground, bringing the weight on the right foot as well as on the hands that are on the ground. Find that stretch in the left foot and then slowly bring it back and go into a downward facing dog. And let's repeat it on the left side, bringing our left foot between our hands and lifting our right leg up in the air, moving our weight on the left foot, and then slowly bring the right foot back on the ground and go into a downward facing dog. And then gently release your downward facing dog, resting your knees on the ground and go into a child's pose. It's always a good idea to go into child's pose in between poses whenever you need to catch a breath or you feel like there's tension building up in your body. From here, let's come back into a seated position with our legs extended forward. Inhale as you lift your arms up and exhale as you go into a forward fold, grabbing the big toes. And then inhale as you find the length in the spine and exhale as you bend forward from the lower back. You can keep your knees slightly bent in, and then you can also push your knees down a little from your elbows if you need to. Find that deeper extension in your hamstrings. And from here, we are going to go into one final resting position, which is the Savasana. Your legs and hands spread wide. Occupy as much space as you need to. Thank you for following along in this beginner level arm balance. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the advanced levels.